talks on emotional maturity, Swami Dayananda, the giver. What characterizes one's inner maturity is degree of objectivity with respect to one's virtues as well as one's limitations. It takes a lot of courage to own up one's limitations. I find I do not have power over anger, over sorrow, over all those conditions of the mind which I do not want to have, but which I find myself having. Therefore, it is clear that I do not call all the shots. This realization, this mature recognition implies naturally an appreciation of the source which I can resort to, I can take refuge in. When I find that I have run out of my abilities, my resources, I apply for help to the source which can help. This is true in our day to day life also. For example, when one runs out of financial resources, one seeks help of financial institutions. So too, I seek help from the source which can help, which should be free from the limitations I have, because there cannot be begging among beggars. That source is Iswara, God. Here again, I must draw your attention to what is mature and what is not. There is God of a mature person and a God of the one who was not yet become mature. The world is a creation. When I look at this world, I find a scheme of things enjoying a certain order. Whenever there is an assembly made up of a number of components put together intelligently, serving a certain purpose, we call that assembly a creation. When things are not put together chaotically, like once throwing things in a garbage can, but put together in a meaningful way, such that all things become total. That single total entity is called creation. The chair on which you are sitting is a creation. A chair is an assembly consisting of number of components put together meaningfully and serving a certain purpose, and therefore it is a creation. Similarly, a car is an intelligent assembly. It consists of a number of components: engine, radiator, tires, gears, and so on. A heap of these components would not make the car. When they are intelligently assembled such that engine is where it should be and wheels are where they should be, what should be moving moves, and what should be stationary is so. There you have an assembly to serve the purpose it is designed for. Thus, a car is a creation. A clock is a creation. Your shirt is a creation. A nucleus is a creation. Solar system is a creation. All the laws of nature are creation. This physical body is a creation, a marvelous creation at that. You look at any part of the body and you will be convinced of this fact. These arms have the right number of joints, otherwise, they would not be able to perform the functions they are performing now. Eyes, ears, heart, legs, these are not ordinary designs. Look at the function of heart. It is a simple pump that continuously performs its function for a number of years. It takes a great deal of engineering and a great deal of money to make an artificial heart. And again, the different parts of the body are exactly where they should be. The eyes are exactly where they should be, and so are the ears. At one point, I thought the location of nose can be changed. Maybe it would be better to place it on top of the head. There would be certain advantages in placing it there. For one thing, I would be saved from picking up bugs when someone sneezes in front of me. Secondly, smoke from some other nose would not enter my nose because it would go up directly. But then, thinking further, I realized I'd not be able to choose a cup of coffee from that of tea because both look alike. Smell would enable me to make a distinction, but for smelling, I must lift the cup to top of the head, and then also vapor from cup would not enter my nose because it is facing upwards. I must pour the liquid into my nose to smell it. Therefore, I came to the conclusion even the nose is best placed where it is, so that I can pick up the smell at the same time I am drinking coffee or eating food. Thus, the more we think, the more we see the meaningful order in creation. I find that everything is a marvel when I look into it. Every cell is a marvel. Even the man-made things, rockets, computers, are all marvels, and I have been given an intellect to discover and enjoy these marvels. The Creator must be omnipresent and omnipotent. Thus, this world is an intelligent assembly, serving a definitive purpose, and therefore it is a creation. It is an intelligent creation which implies knowledge. The maker of given thing must have the knowledge of the thing, whether it is a pot or a clock or a bread or what you call Srikhand. You must know all about it before you can make it. Whether it turns out to be the way you wanted it or not depends upon your experience, skill, resources, etc. But you must necessarily know about it before you start making it. Even a modern artist knows what he is going to make, even though the product may not look like it has been planned. He definitely had a plan before starting to make it. He takes some paint and throws it on the canvas, and a certain pattern emerges from that. If you take the same paint and throw, you will not get that pattern out of it. The logic is yo yatkarta sa tajnaha. The creator of a given thing has the knowledge of the thing. The creator of a pot has the knowledge of a pot. When we extend this logic to the creation of this universe, it can be said, Sarvasya Karta Sarvajnana. The creator of everything must have knowledge of everything. He must be Sarvajnana, omniscient. Over and above knowledge, creator must also have skill and energy to create. So, creator of the universe must have all the power and skill to create everything. In other words, the creator must be omnipotent, Sarva Shaktiman. Once we accept that there is a creator of this universe, then it follows the creator must be omniscient and omnipotent. And the knowledge and skill always rest in a conscious being. And so, the creator of the universe must be a conscious being who must be omniscient and omnipotent. Thus, the argument in arriving at creator is that this universe is a creation because it is an assembly, samadhi, intelligently put together, serving a certain purpose. Since it is an intelligent design which implies both knowledge and power, the creator must be a conscious being who must be both omniscient and omnipotent, that is, Almighty. Therefore, appreciation of creator or Iswara is not the belief of some fool or some ignorant person or the privilege of some intelligent person or something. It is a part of growing up. It is a mature way of looking at things. You do not just take things for granted. Since an intellect is given to you, it is only proper to appreciate a being who is creator of this universe. Where is God? Now, a question naturally arises with respect to the creator. Where is this creator? Answer to this question brings about further maturity. It is quite clear the creator is not here nor anywhere around, and therefore we assign him a place that is beyond our reach, beyond the reach of our eyes, ears, or thoughts. We call that place heaven, where our sense perception, our inference, or presumption have no access. Some people call it Vaikunta, some call it Kailasha. Let us call it heaven. And where is it? Up there. That is why people look up, throw their arms up when they pray God. No one ever looks down while addressing God. Most of the people believe in God, accept that He is in heaven. Then there is a further question. If God in heaven created this world, then who created heaven? We have to say God. Since heaven is also a part of creation, it could not have been there before creation. So, the next question is, where was God before the creation of heaven? The only place that is left is hell, which amounts to saying that the God in hell created heaven. This is absurd. Every growing child raises this question. As a child grows, it looks around, and this question naturally arises as to where is God, the creator of this universe? No satisfactory answer comes forth, and when the child grows older, the question is dropped. The question remains unanswered, and that is part of one's problem too, because one is as good as one's understanding. If one is not at home with one's understanding, how is one going to be at home with oneself? How is one going to accept oneself? The maker and material are one. The question as to where God is does not get answered unless we look at the whole thing as the Vedas do. When we inquire into the creation and its cause, we should not confine ourselves to a part, but should look at the whole. We cannot get right answers if we ask wrong questions, because answer we get is always in keeping with question. And so, if we ask a right question, there'll be a right answer. When we inquire into nature of cause for creation, we find there must be two causes for any creation: the maker and the material. The maker, the one who is responsible for creation, is called the efficient cause or nimitta karana, and there also must be some material out of which any given thing can be created. For creation of a pot, for example, there must be a pot maker, the efficient cause, and also some material such as clay, copper, or brass, out of which the pot is to be made. For baking bread, there must be a baker, and also the flour out of which the bread can be baked. With reference to creation of universe, if Ishvara, God, is the maker, the efficient cause, the question then is, what is the material out of which God created this world? When we are inquiring into nature of cause of creation, we must take into account the material also. Where did Lord find the material? Here, we must also bear in mind both space and time are part of creation, and so before creation there is nothing outside the creation, because outside is a concept in space which is not yet created. Therefore, there is nothing outside the Lord before creation, and so the material should also be within the Lord. That is why he is called Lord. Therefore, not only is the Lord the maker, but he is the material too. Tasmadva yetas madatmana akasha sambhuta. From the Lord, that is this self, Akasha, the space, was born. From the space was born air. From the air was born fire. From fire, water. From water, earth was born. Vedas give us this model of the five elements for creation of the world. The world is nothing but these five elements and their combinations. While explaining how the maker and the material of this universe are one, Vedas give us illustration of a spider. Yathornabit shrajte granate cha. Just as a spider creates a web and withdraws it too. The spider is efficient cause of the web because it has intelligence and skill to create the web. It chooses the right place for the web where it should not be swept away by the lady of the house and where it can get its prey. This shows that the spider has intelligence. And the material for the web is the secretion of the gland which it finds within itself. So too, Lord projects this creation and withdraws it unto himself at the time of dissolution. Dream is even better model to explain the creation of world, where Lord is both the maker and the material. In dream, you create a world merely by sankalpa, thought. You think of a mountain, the mountain is. You think of anything, that thing is. You have prior knowledge of what you create in dream because you cannot dream of something that is totally unknown to you. Things may get jumbled up, all right. For example, you may create a man with horns in your dream, but there also both the man and the horns are known to you. Somehow they get mixed up and you have a man and horns. And there you are the maker of a dream world of which you have the knowledge. And where do you go for the material of the dream objects? You are the material. Your memory is the material. Hence, you are both the maker and the material for dream creation. You create a wondrous mountain, sky, stars, and there are many people standing below on earth, looking at stars, wondering as to who has created this wonderful world. They are all praising the creation, some of them writing poetry, and all the time you are the maker, Iswara of that creation. No one in your dream world knows who you are. Now, what was there before the dream creation? You cannot say there was nothing. That there was non-existence before the creation of the dream. You were very much there. You were sleeping before the dream. From the sleep, you enter the dream, which is a half waking state. So, you were there before the dream. True, there was no time, no space, no object, no situation before creation of the dream world, because none of these exists in sleep. But you were very much there. Hence, the self was there before creation. Similarly, for the empirical world also, the Lord is both the creator and the material. That is mature vision about God. If Lord is both maker and material, please tell me what is the distance between Lord and the creation? Can anyone establish a distance between product and material from which it is made? What is the distance between shirt you are wearing and fabric from which it is made? Can you imagine a shirt without a fabric or without some substance? There is no product without a material. Where the product is, the material must be. The product need not be where the material is, but the material must be where the product is. A creation can never be separate from its material cause. Now, if space is part of creation, space cannot be separate from the material. And Lord is the material for this universe. And so, what is space? The Lord. Time is also Lord. Air, water, fire, earth, all of these are Lord. Sun, moon, stars, the planets are all the Lord. The heaven, all the worlds above, those below, all of them are the Lord. And this physical body that is made of the five elements is again the Lord. The breath is Lord. Sense organs are Lord. Mind is Lord. And the consciousness behind all of these is the Lord. Then, where are you? You asked a question, where is God? Now, I am asking, where are you? When you ask the question as to where the Lord is, you have already assumed He is not here. But can you establish your existence isolated from everything else? The physical world includes your body. And if the world is Lord, your body is also Lord. Then, where are you as a separate entity? God is to be understood, not believed. Ishvara is not a matter for belief. He is the matter for understanding. This world is not a matter for belief because you perceive it. Therefore, Lord is also not something to be believed. It is a challenge to understand Him. If the Lord is in heaven, not within the range of your perception or inference, then He becomes a matter for belief. In that case, you simply accept that what you're told without asking questions. But Lord of the Hindus is not a matter for belief. Hindus do not simply believe in God, they understand God. That is the reason why Hindus even worship the space. There is a temple dedicated to Lord Nataraja in Chidambaram, in south of India. There is in that temple what they call Chidambara Ragasyam, meaning the secret of Chidambaram. Chit means the all-knowing God. Ambara means space. And so, in this temple, they worship the Lord as space. When as a young boy, I first went to this temple, I was eager to know about this Rahasyam. When the priest removed the curtain at the time of showing Aarti, I found there was no form. All there was a garland of golden bilva leaves hanging in space. So, the secret, Rahasyam, is that space itself is the Lord. Similarly, there is a temple where air is worshipped as the Lord, and another where fire is worshipped as Lord, and so on. Only a Vaidika can worship the elements. That is the vision of Vedas. You do not require a particular altar to invoke the Lord. You can invoke Him anywhere because what is it that is not Lord? The whole order is the Lord. All the laws or the Lord. That is the appreciation of the Lord on part of a matured person. Maturity is nothing but appreciation of what is. To be objective, to be alive to reality is maturity. These are all simple facts. We are not believing in anything. We just appreciate the facts. Do not take things for granted. We are talking about what is, and so there is no question of belief. We can see gold is different from copper, and that is different from lead, because each metal has its own atomic weight, its own physical and other properties. But a physicist knows that all of them are nothing but energy, quanta of energy. That is not a belief. If someone says, I don't see that, then that person may have to believe. But that is not a belief that one has to live with and die with, like the belief of a God in heaven. What we have here is Shraddha, belief pending discovery. There is something to be understood. We understand the difference and at the same time understand the non-difference, something more than what meets the eye. That is the vision of Vedas, that the whole creation is non-separate from Ishvara, because he is the efficient as well as the material cause. The Lord is called He from the standpoint of the Maker, and called She from the standpoint of the material. In fact, we use he and she interchangeably and use it to indicate the truth of them both. Since the Lord is everything, He is all the names, all the forms, and therefore we can invoke Him in any name, any form. This is the mature way of looking at worship of God. We can pray to Him in any language because He is omniscient and therefore should know all languages. In fact, He should respond even before we call Him. This is not tolerance or anything. This is only understanding. They say the Hindus are tolerant of various forms of worship. We are tolerant, no doubt. But in this particular case, we are not just tolerant. We have total acceptance as far as worship is concerned, prayer is concerned. That is why very often we find many devatas, deities, in a typical puja room. Every aspect of Lord is represented here. We look upon the sun as God, so we have Surya Devta. We look upon air as God, so we have Vayu Devta. We look upon earth as God, Prithvi Devta. We worship the Nimitta Karana, the intelligent cause, and Upadana Karana, the material, becomes symbol for that. We worship the omniscient, omnipotent Lord through the symbol of Upadana. The sun, moon, air, etc. become the symbols through which we worship the Lord. We have varieties of devtas through whom we worship one God. If this is understood, then we can see how Indian religious culture is based on this vision. For example, when we greet each other, We say Namaste, salutation to you. The two hands are brought together in a folded fashion. Each hand is quite different from the other. The right is not the left is not the right, but right is I, and the left hand is also I. Similarly, you are the Lord, and I am also the Lord. Therefore, you remind me of the Lord, and I remind you of the Lord, because both are conscious beings. This body is looked upon as a temple. Hence, when I take a bath, it is not merely cleaning this body, but it is also giving bath to the Lord. This dot on the forehead is also a form of worship of the Lord. It is not just ornamentation or beautification. Application of vibhuti or ashes on the forehead and on the body is similarly a form of worship to the Lord, who is the conscious being. The Lord is the consciousness in me and the mind in me, the prana in me, the sense organs in me. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, He is the food that we eat. He is also the digestive power in the stomach, and He is the eater too. Our knowledge, memory, everything is due to Him, and therefore, as part of worship to Him, we use sandalwood paste, kumkum, etc., in the form of tilak on the forehead. In act of worship, we offer the Lord whatever is fragrant, whatever is colorful. Women place flowers on the hair. Again, that is not for beautification or ornamentation. It is an offering to the Lord. Flowers are fragrant and beautiful, and therefore they are offered to Lord. This is our religious culture. And so, when you come out with a tilakam on your forehead, you remind me of the Lord. And when you see me with a tilakam on my forehead, I remind you of the Lord. That is why we greet each other with a namaskara, salutation. As Ishvara, every one of us deserves salutation. Indian culture is a religious culture, and religion is based upon this vision of scriptures that Lord is everything. We find the vision manifesting in our day-to-day life. Understanding of that takes a certain maturity on our part.